Hello everybody. I'm really looking forward to this project that we're going to be doing today because this coming Sunday is Mother's Day and I thought it'd be fun to do a project that you could give as a gift to somebody for Mother's Day. No, it doesn't have to be someone that's your mother. Maybe it's your grandmother, maybe it's your aunt, maybe it's a good friend, maybe it's just somebody that's always kind of been like a mom to you. So this is what we get to create. Now I know you guys have toilet paper tubes at home and that's what we use for the vase, and then construction paper colored for the flowers. Now if you don't have construction paper, you can just use white paper, that's fine. You could color white paper with crayons or markers first before you transform into these really cool three-dimensional flowers. You might need crayons if you want to decorate the vase, or like I said, if you have white paper and you need to color the flowers in. You're going to need scissors and you're going to need glue, a pencil, an eraser, a ruler, and a marker too you might want to use. That's totally up to you though. It depends on the color of your paper that maybe you're drawing over. Okay, so let's get ready to begin. So what I'm doing first is choosing a color piece of paper, or white if you don't have color, and I'm going to put my toilet paper tube on it and kind of mark where the toilet paper tube ends so I know my paper's wide enough for the paper towel tube. Now I'm just going to take a ruler and trace a line across the ruler on the paper where I marked it for the toilet paper tube. Now I'm just going to take my scissors and cut right on that line. Now I'm just going to take my toilet paper tube and just kind of see how long I need that pink sheet of paper to go. So I'm just going to wrap it around and then mark where there's a good spot to cut the paper, and then I will cut that. And now I'm just going to take crayons and decorate that however I want. You could do patterns if you want to. You could just do like a picture on it, maybe words. It's whatever you choose to do for that vase. Now I'm just taking my toilet paper tube and I'm putting glue all over it. You can also use a hot glue gun if you had that, with parents' permission or with an adult, because that can burn you. And I'm just rolling it onto the paper, or rolling the paper onto the tube. Add a little bit of glue at the end there. Take it and really smush it and rub it down so that it stays still good. I like to take tape and tape down the end just until it dries, and then I can peel those pieces of tape off. It holds it in place until then. Once you're finished with that, just set it off to the side and then you can start creating flowers. So now just choose a piece of paper in whatever color that you want. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut a little strip off the paper. So just cut up. If you need to make a line first with the ruler, you can do that. And then what we're going to do, we're going to fringe the paper. So you're cutting down with the scissors, but not all the way to the end. Leave like a finger space at the bottom. You're going to do that all the way to the very end of the strip. Now I did shorten mine a bit because I didn't need the whole length of the paper. This is going to be the center of a flower, so I don't want it really that long. And see how I'm rolling it around, wrapping it, and then I'm going to glue it to itself. So it creates like a cylinder shape. And then make sure to glue that and press it so it stays tight. Now I'm just fluffing out the fringe a little before I do the next step. So now I'm taking another color piece of paper and I'm going to set that fringed center part of the flower on it, just so I know that I'm going to be making the petals of the flower. I want to make sure they're going to be big enough. So I set them there and I can kind of trace that center piece that I made, and then I can go ahead and create petals. Now when I make the petals, you could do large ovals, circles. I'm doing kind of like a rounded, almost triangle shape. I like to do the center areas first and then fill in between the petals. So these are like a triangle shape basically. Now I'm going to do the center part. And then the next step will be to cut out the petals. Now, when I'm cutting them out, make sure that you don't separate the petals from each other. Make sure that you're going around I like to kind of circle around the flower first so there's not so much paper in the way. And then I'll cut from that side of the petal and then over the other side. Cut them all. Now I take that center part of the flower, I'm just going to cut like a line and leave spaces. So what's going to happen is you're going to create tabs to fold down. So see, then you fold them back, put some glue on each one of those tabs, and that's how you would glue it down to the center of the flower. And then there you have it. Now I'm going to set that flower aside and do another flower. So now I'm just going to find something round like a lid or a cup, and I'm going to trace that. And then once you have a circle, you're going to cut that circle out. Now I'm cutting a spiral, so I hold the paper with one hand and I leave a space and I start to cut on the outside edge, and my helping hand is going to keep turning the paper as I just cut straight. And what happens is I start getting closer and closer to the center of the paper or the circle. So you're creating a spiral in the paper. Now I'm going to take the end of the spiral and I'm going to start to roll the paper in, or the tail end of the spiral. Just roll it all the way until you get to the center. So as I get it rolled, I'm going to take some glue and I'm going to put it on the center part of the spiral, the round part, and then stick it to the flower. So take that glue, put it in there, and kind of press it down. You kind of have to play with this, fiddle with it a little bit, let the petals kind of open up. I'm going to set that one aside when I'm all finished to let that dry and work on another flower. So I chose a different color piece of paper, and what I'm going to do is draw some petals in the center. So I'm just kind of attaching those together, and then I'm going to cut that out. And then once I cut that out, I'm going to set it on the paper, and I'm going to make the next round of petals bigger than the one I just drew. So that's why I set it on the paper, so I can kind of draw petals or outline around it. Then I will cut those out next. And then once again, I'm going to take that larger petal that I just did and trace outside that and make the next round of petals even bigger than this one. And then once I've drawn those, I will also cut them out as well. Now I'm going to take the medium one and put glue on the center of it and stick that down to the largest group of petals that I made. And look at, I can even kind of fold up those petals a little bit so they look a little more dimensional. Now then I will take the smallest group of petals, put glue in the center of that, and then do the same thing. Stick it down to the last one I just glued and fluff up the petals. I can even create like a small circle out of another color paper or the same paper to put in the middle. I'm going to take a crayon and draw a white circle in the center for mine to finish it off. And once that's finished, I will also take that, put it this side to dry. Then I will make my next flower. My next flower, I'm going to use a black marker on blue paper, but you can do whatever. And I'm going to draw this almost like a, triangles all the way from one end of the blue paper to the very bottom. So keep doing those so that they're touching, because you're going to cut them all out in one strip. And then once I've drawn that, I'm going to take my scissors and cut down that strip. But make sure that you leave those, they're going to be petals together. Don't cut them off on the strip. Now an easy way to do that is to cut from one side. Let me show you. Cut from this side and then come from the other side. That's the easiest way to cut these out. So one side then the other, just like that. So now I'm going to take that strip and roll it into the middle like I did with the other flowers, kind of like the rose I did. all the way into the middle, and then you're gonna glue that down and kind of fluff it out. And then once you get it situated, you're going to set that aside to dry as well. And then next, we're going to create stems and leaves for the flowers. Now I'm grabbing green paper and I'm going to just trace a line down the ruler. So I want rectangles in the thickness of the ruler. And I'm just going to do 4 of them because I have 4 flowers. And then once I trace those lines, I will cut them out. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically fold or roll that strip up into a skinnier strip, and it makes it thicker and heavier to hold the flowers. And I'll glue that down also. Now I'll fold all 4 papers like that, and next what I'm going to do is create a bunch of leaves. So I'm taking one piece of green paper and I'm just folding it in half a bunch of times, and then I'll draw my leaf shapes, and they could be round, they could be ovals, and then you're going to cut through those papers so you get a bunch of leaves, so that you have at least 2 leaves for every stem of your flower. Now I'm just going to glue at least 2 leaves on every single stem. It's pretty simple like that. So I'll do that to all 4 of my stems, and then I'll start gluing the flowers on top. Now I can take all my flowers, and I need to trim the stems down because I don't want them so tall, so they fit into the toilet paper tube real nicely. So I'll trim each one of my stems. And then I'm just going to place them in the toilet paper tube, and there you go. We'll see you next time, guys.